Gotta go fast.
Only shooting stars break the
Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing a combination Goblin, Human, Samurai, Ninja, Goro-Goro and Satoru. This is a March of the Machine Commander card that is one of 3 brought to Arena. This, Catilda and Leer, and Slidefoot and Squee are all available in Arena and are actually on the paid Mastery Pass. Goro-Goro and Satoru of them I think is the most interesting because it has a build around of hitting people with creatures that entered the battlefield on the same turn they dealt their damage. Because when you do that, you get a dragon. And this is a very cool build around because you might be thinking, oh, well, of course, you're supposed to play Satoru, making ninjas, and Goro-Goro haste. So this deck actually has a lot of things that are, yes, ninjas or haste, and of course Goro-Goro and Satoru can give things haste, but it also has things that make tokens that enter the battlefield and have haste so they can attack on the same turn that they're created. And it has a lot of things that already have haste, because we may as well. We also have cards that bounce themselves back into hand. Kaito can bounce creatures back into hand, or ones like Reinforced Ronin, and of course, some big scary dragons of our own. If you're wondering, Amy, what's Ambergris doing in here? Yes, this deck is awfully red. It's not really Grixis. It feels a bit like a mono red deck. It's because Goro-Goro and Satoru's ability actually triggers twice if you can hit twice in a turn, which means that cards like Ambergris or Lizard Blades can enable more dragons per turn. We also have some other ways to make multiple dragons per turn, like Combat Celebrant. Taking an extra turn similarly gets you more dragons. This deck has very few ninjas in it and a lot more haste, because I feel that the ninja strategy, while it's very cool, is done a lot better by just purely a Satoru ninjas deck. And I really like the mono red aggro approach of this build. So we're going to make some dragons, hit with some ninjas, haste in our opponent's face, and, you know, have a fun time. Let's go into the queue with Goro-Goro and Satoru. Moti, Celebrant of Bounty. She gives big things, Cascade. Hello there, Moti, Celebrant of Bounty. Makes your spells with mana value 6 or more have Cascade. And in a deck like this, you should expect to see a little bit of ramp and a whole lot of big stuff. Moti, Celebrant of Bounty is in both green and blue, which gives them access to, I'll say, an extremely good pair of colors when it comes to making big things and protecting them with things like counterspells. Moti reminds me a lot of Volo, but a little bit less predictable. Counterspells, though, are a bit of a non-bow in the deck because you never want to cascade into your counterspells. You only ever want to cascade into more cool cards to cast. I think I'm just going to toss in this Shatter Skull Smashing. Yeah, that sounds good. Swing for 1. Rabbit Battery can give my creatures haste in case we're trying to get Goro-Goro and Satoru ready to roll, but I currently don't have black mana. Next turn, because they will have enough mana for a Moti, I will be holding up Wash Away. Listen, we're playing blue. We may as well run Wash Away, right? I have 2 counterspells in this deck. This is one of them. Hey, look at that! I found some black mana for my commander. Jace into Hour of Promise. They properly read that I had a counter spell. And they are ramping. And ramp they shall. Hour of Promise is one of those cards that's a whole lot better in Commander because it lets you choose which lands you get, and in a format where, say, Field of the Dead is legal, oh, you can go crazy. It's a very, very solid card. Alright, so I want to get out the black. We want to go for Goro-Goro. Play Mox Amber, so we have access to blue mana. Reconfigure, attach to Goro-Goro, and attack in. I'm going to just ignore Jace, because though I do fear Mill, I fear Mill less than they should fear dragons. So now we have a 5/5 Dragon Spirit. Oh, looking good. Goro-Goro does trigger for its own ability, which is really nice. And we still have our Wash Away ready. So we're going to see what they cascade into, because cascaded cards are also not cast from hand. Midnight clock. Bing bong, ding dong. I'm going to hit Emoti here. That will let them cast Emoti again. And look, they're halfway back to paying for that commander tax since they did get Midnight clock. They've got 4 mana here. And they are milling. Milling and drawing. They got a Mind Stone, more ramp. I think we're doing pretty well here. You know, they have been milling me, and the Scarab God is really just in here as like a cute include. Is this the best card for this deck? No. Is it really fun? Yes. Legion Warboss, Ambergris. We're going to haste out at our opponent's face and get more dragons. We can also direct some of that damage over at Jace, take him off the battlefield just so we have to worry a little less. That's a game in the bag for Goro-Goro and Satoru. It's Sheoldred. Literally just Sheoldred. This Sheoldred, when it enters the battlefield, makes your opponent sacrifice a creature, which can be very scary. I've got great mana here, but what I don't have is good 1 or 2 drops. So I'm going to throw that back, see what we can get. And I also didn't get good 1 or 2 drops, or blue mana here, but I have Gix, Lagamos, Mishra's Command, a little bit of removal, and a little bit more. We've got some card draw through Gix from things entering the battlefield and hasting in. Alright, Shelly. Nice! I can now play Goro-Goro and Satoru. But I actually think that going for Lagamos is going to be a better move. Downside of Lagamos, with Blood Artist out, I'm going to be losing a life, and they'll be gaining a life. Good news, I'm attacking with a fresh 2/1 every turn. These have haste, they have trample, and they do trigger Goro-Goro and Satoru. Demon's Disciple. Oh no! My cool tech! It's dead! I could go for Goro-Goro, hasting it out with Mishra's Command.
Relax. I've got the technological edge.
Just gonna throw down a drone. A little Death Toucher. This drone is so pretty. If they choose to play Sheoldred in a turn, it only makes you sacrifice non-token creatures or planeswalkers, which I think is notable. Okay. We're gonna go for Goro-Goro. I'm going to give Goro-Goro haste. There we go. Haste and sure, X damage. We're doing X equals 0 though. X damage, give haste. We're gonna make it so Gix can't block or attack. Swing in, and boom, we get a dragon. We also have the option to put Goro-Goro and Satoru back into hand. I'm going to decline. Having Goro-Goro passively out with the number of haste creatures we have is very much okay with me. A Thought Sneeze, They went for Gix. They say, I have a Gix, you can't have a Gix too. And a Plague Crafter. I feel like we can just drop Kaito. Bye. Kaito can't attack, so we don't need that in this life. Ogre Battle Driver will give future creatures haste. This has haste itself, and Chandra's going to be spitting out little hasty buddies. We're going to make 2 little hasty buddies. And since they entered the battlefield this turn, we swing in, and only one gets blocked. It's a free block. Prevent that 1 damage. We get another dragon. Sheoldred says, you have to sacrifice a creature or planeswalker. Well, I've got, let's say, a little bit of damage up here in the air. Perhaps lethal damage. 2 times 5, a clean 10. Good game, Sheoldred. It's Vorinclex. My deck is actually a little weak against Vorinclex because we're playing this deck as mostly mono-red aggro, and Vorinclex is a 5-mana 6/6. Which is notably bigger than anything, you know. we're really running. Also, Vorinclex having reach means that he can block my 5/5 dragons. And that's a bummer. Thankfully, we have a way to kill him, using mostly unblockable creatures and the Coochie Silencer. Yes, that's his name. Don't question it. It's a regular name. I'm going to just keep getting out more creatures. We're going to play Goro-Goro of Goro-Goro and Satoru fame, clearly. This can give me haste and also can get me more spirits if we have modified creatures, which we only have a little bit of modify. In this case, we can equip things with Swiftfoot boots. Giving haste is always good. And they are racing. They're getting as much as they can mana-wise. I'll get my commander out. It's not going to trigger this turn. But we do have a way to trigger it next turn and kill Vorinclex. That's going to be a really good, like, double hit for us. Into the north. Never mind, they're not playing Vorinclex. They're just gonna keep on ramping. Okay. Suppose I'll get Chandra out. Make a couple little guys and swinging with everything. We're dealing damage. They had a chance to get out a, let's say a Mighty Reachy Creechy. They chose not to. We now have a 5/5 Dragon Spirit. Blockable by Vorinclex, yes. Thorn Mammoth! Who do you fight? Do you take out the biggest attacker or the thing that's enabling my deck? They went for the enabler here. Move my commander to the command zone. I only have 3 mana, which is going to make this a little trickier. But we have some little guys worth attacking with. I'm going to get this Ginger Root ready to roll, ready to rumble, and I'm going to attack in with Ginger Root. This 5/5 and my 1/1 elementals generated this turn. Goro-Goro is just going to chill and stand back. But because we have our ninjutsu ready, we're going to ninjutsu in. I'm going to throw Ginger Root back into my hand. Deal some extra damage. They're down to 4, and we can discard a creature here. I'm going to discard Hanweir Garrison and kill Thorn Mammoth. We can enable haste on any creature. We have a little flyer. We have another little hasty guy here. We have the ability to go very wide. They get to force a Vorinclex entering the battlefield, but they have to prevent 4 damage here. Four mana could be a fight. Alright, that gains them 2 life. The Great Henge. Puts them up to 6 once they tap it. Swiftfoot Boots. Oh, are they going to give Vorinclex some haste? And Hexproof. The Hexproof is actually probably more important here. Oh. I guess math is for blockers, and they don't want to block. So, good game. Giza and Geralt, able to play zombies from the graveyard. I do have some nice hasty things, a little bit of removal here, and a board wipe, but I don't actually think that this hand is great. 3 lands, I think I'll take this. We have a nice little aggressive 1-drop here that I'm happy to pay life for. Reinforced Ronin. So, Giza and Geralt aren't zombies themselves, but they enter the battlefield, they mill themselves, and then every turn you can play a zombie from the graveyard. You have to pay for it. You are casting it, but it's a really cool way to treat your graveyard a bit like a second hand, since so many zombies like graveyard things. I'm going to play aggressively. I'll keep paying 1 life to deal 2 damage here. Keep it up. Get that damage in. Put this back into hand. Mire Triton, a zombie fish that mills them. And it did put a zombie in the graveyard. Narfi! Hi, Narfi. I think I'll get Goro-Goro and Satoru out here just to chill, just being like, hey, what's up? That lets me make mana off the Mox Amber. We can use that mana to cast Reinforced Ronin, and I'll swing in with it. Now, they can trade my 1-drop for their 2-drop because they can replay this from the graveyard. But it means that they are now defenseless for this next turn. We'll see if they can play something. They'll be able to bring back Narfi from the graveyard to the battlefield. They are absolutely able to do that. Nope, they went for Headless Rider. Ooh. Now I have choices. I'm going to go with Lagomos as my choice. Lagomos enters the battlefield, and then at the start of combat makes a Trampling Elemental token. It's got haste, it entered the battlefield this turn, and they cannot prevent this damage because it does have Trample. Yeah, you get a zombie, but I get a spirit. A dragon spirit. Arcane Signet gives them more mana. They could sacrifice zombie in order to play their commander, but I don't actually know if that's great for them. That's what they're going for. But little do they know, we actually have a Rankle here. There's probably no zero-cost zombies they can play, and since they only have one creature here, we're going to be able to swing in. I'm going to swing in with the Spirit and the Rankle. Rankle entered the battlefield this turn. And we're going to, you know what, go for all three. We hit with something that entered the battlefield this turn. I'm going to drop these booties. And I'm going to sacrifice this Elemental, which Lagomos created. Goodbye, Giza and Geralf. They're down to 10 life. We've got 2 5/5 dragons, a 3/3 fairy rogue. We're making 2/1s every single turn, and Goro-Goro and Satoru just vibing, hanging out. And everything goes back into my hand. That's okay. 8 damage here. We do have some ways to get some haste and some damage on face. I'm gonna go for Squee and Lannery. Squeeze out that damage. Squee gets a little buddy. Lannery just swings in, gets me a treasure. When we sacrifice that treasure, she'll get an additional power. But we're building up wide. They're down to 3 life. How do you save yourself now? Oh, by killing all my creatures? I mean, I could technically bring Squee back from the graveyard, or we could just use... Did you just name Ape? Did you just imply that I have a crippling fear of... Pardon me, apes? Alright then. Power word kill, they're killing Rankle. Goro-Goro's in play. Yes. I do fear the monkey. This comes in tapped, so wouldn't be able to block. Giza and Geralf are able to block, but we can give anything haste. And they don't know what I've got. Wow, another board wipe. A languish this time. First they bounce, then they cripple. They kill, they languish. I'll show you some languish. I'll show you all the languages I know. Squee, Dubious Monarch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exile my entire graveyard to escape. Squee, we're going to play Lagomos, since now we can tap the Mox Amber for some mana. We're going to swing in with 2 and 1. And you know what that is? It's lethal. Ajani, Strength of the Pride. This likes life gain. It's a board wipe attached to a Planeswalker. It makes Ajani's Pride mates, it gains life, and I guess it makes for a great alternative to other mono-white life gain commanders like Heliod. We're going to swing in with Feldon, since haste, and get out Mox Amber, which we can tap for red because Feldon is legendary. Next turn, we're ready to cast Goro-Goro and Satoru. Ooh, but we might have to be ready with a firm grasp on this Ajani's Pride mate. I'm going to let it survive a turn, and I'm not going to play Goro-Goro quite yet. Instead, I'm going to go for Urabrask's Forge. The earlier I can play this Forge, the better it is. Urabrask Forge starts by making a 1/1, then a 2/1, a 3/1, a 4/1, etc., etc., etc. Ooh, Ajani's Welcome, gaining life on enter the battlefield. They now have 2 Soul Sisters out. The first deck I ever built in Magic, by the way, was in a Johnny's Pridemate Soul Sisters deck. What that says about me is up for debate, but what it says in my heart is I love Soul Sisters. Now, Pridemate might be a 3/3 now. I expect it to get bigger very quickly. Thousand Face Shadow, we could save this in order to use its ninjutsu ability, which would get me a lot of really strong stuff. But I actually think that it's better for me to just get more creatures out now. Oh, make it 3 Soul Sisters! These sisters are going to be gaining life on Enter the Battlefields, and getting this Pridemate absolutely dummy thick. It's now as big or bigger than a dragon. Righteous Valkyrie is going to give them a buff if they can get over 32 life, because it's 7 more than your starting life total. And the Johnny's Pridemate is swinging in. Damn, girl. You're huge. I wish I had 1 more mana here. I'm just going to kill that, and then I'm going to attack it. Because I have, poor self-preservation instincts. More dragons. I think I'll be chump blocking with this Thousand Face Shadow. And the forge grows. 13 life at the life gain deck side. Is it time for a Johnny to come out and make another Johnny's Pridemate? Or just gain them for life? Nope, they're going for a Pridemate. It's going to triple trigger here, so they'll gain 3 life, get 3 life gain triggers for these Pridemates, and the kitty cats get bigger and bigger and bigger! Meow meow! And they're gonna chill. They're gonna sit there. They're not gonna do anything. Which means I have a perfect opportunity to get out another dragon. Goldspan Dragon! Yes, you gain life. You get triggers. It's cool. Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? I've got creatures! And these creatures have flying. Okay, so I have 15 damage here. May as well attack with that. Sure, Feldon, you can go in too. But I think I should kill a Johnny. So I will. The downside of attacking like this, I probably actually should have directed one of these dragons at a Johnny, is that, unfortunately, that means I did not get a dragon at end of turn. I realized this after. Goro-Goro and Satoru is only when you deal combat damage to a player, not when you deal it to a battle or planeswalker or other attackable target. Which means that Goro-Goro and Satoru will be forced into blocking here. Meow, meow, meow. Wait, I might actually be dead from my misplay. What a big surprise that would be. It is actually strange that they didn't include battle here. Yeah, we are actually dead because I didn't put Goldspan Dragon to face and this Dragon Spirit at a Johnny. I thought about it as I was doing it, but that's a classic little misplay. A GG, a Johnny. Remember, kids, read your cards. Doesn't say battle, doesn't say planeswalker, only says face. Omnath, Locus of the Royal. Omnath, Locus of the Royal is an elementals and a landfall commander, but is very often just an excuse to play powerful Tumor spells. We won't really know what this Omnath is up to until they start playing cards, but the most powerful way to play this Omnath is usually with early game, you ramp, land-based ramp. Mid-game, you've got some counter spells and other removal spells, and late game, you overwhelm your opponent by making Omnath into this monster of a card that just keeps getting value, replacing itself, and, since you've got all those ramp spells, takes over the game rather quickly. I kinda like just throwing down Feldon here. Maybe an Arcane Signet? Let's go for Feldon. If you're saying, oh hey, I know Omnath. That's that guy in the most recent set. Every time they reprint Omnath, he got another color. And in the most recent set, March of the Machine, they completed him, giving him a black Phyrexian mana symbol. He went from green to green red to green red blue to green red blue white, and then green red blue white and black with Phyrexian mana. It is a very cool card though. Oh, Lightning Bolt. Since they did damage to Feldon, we get to look at the top 3 cards and use one of these next turn. I think we'll go for this Dark Slick Shores. Lands easy, it comes in untapped. I wonder how Omnath's doing. A lot of the completed cards and creatures seem to either be dead or perfectly normally recovered. And I don't know what Omnath's fate was. I guess we'll find out next time we go to Zendikar. Just be like, hey, is the royal, like, doing all right? And they'll be like, no, it's not. Goro-Goro, who can give things haste, occasionally makes a dragon spirit, just like you. 4 mana. Omnath, Omnath, Omnath. No Omnath? No Omnath. Well, speaking of haste, we could go for Goro-Goro, but I just don't think it's going to actually work. So I'm going to play Urabrask the Hidden instead to make it so my creatures have haste and my opponent's creatures all come into play tapped. This is just another easy way to start enabling the things being able to attack and hit face in the turn they enter the battlefield, since haste. Tail's End! So they were going to counter Goro-Goro and Satoru. We're going to swing in with our regular old Goro-Goro. Our friendly little goblin samurai, who's doing a little slamurai. And they line up the shot. Not going to go for a naturalize, just drawing a card, probably to get some more lands. I really don't like that you didn't play anything. This makes me incredibly uncomfortable. I'm gonna play Goro-Goro. I've got 3 mana I can tap, so I can play some taxing counterspells. It was the classic Wash Away. Move my commander to the command zone. Sure, I was just thinking they were gonna try and block with the Den of the Bugbear, and I was like, I can Lightning Bolt. Not my day. Alright, so Yahenni and Goro-Goro are going to come on in. And they are making 2 1/1s. Would you like to block? Double block, perhaps? I could sacrifice Goro-Goro in order to keep Yahenni alive here, and I think that that's fine. We have other haste enablers, and this way, Yahenni is actually going to be really chunky since 2 creatures died. We have a 4/4 now. Yes, do you like my 4 power, my 4 toughness? It will be sizable, like your Omnath. They played the land before they played the Omnath, which means that they won't be getting a +1/+1 counter, and it's actually great news for me with regards to Goro-Goro and Satoru, maybe getting some haste as the place. I have to decide here. Do I want to do that? Do I want to just Rankle, Embercleave? We've got choices. I'm going to go for Goro-Goro and Satoru, and I want to make a dragon because it's cool, and it's fun, and it's tasty, and I want to get silly with it. It's a 5/5 frickin' dragon. Block me. You won't. There we go. We now have a 5/5 dragon spirit. Rar. Omnath's like, cool, I can draw a card. I'm a little jealous. They did shock this in. Ooh, it's because they're playing Coma! Cosmos Serpent. Coma's rather scary. They've got themselves a Coma's Coil. I want to tap this for black. Rankle at the ready. And then I'm actually attacking in with everything. Hey, do you want to tap anybody down? Okay. Yahenni gets bigger. And we're swinging in with these 3. How would you like to block? Because your Coma can't be made indestructible anymore. Wait a minute. I could kill Coma, or I could kill my opponent. Let's go for that one. It seems like a better idea. GG, Omnath. Elish Norn, going to be making me pay in order to avoid losing life? Okay, I think that that's very fair. This Elish Norn has a very, we'll call it Staxy sort of passive ability. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you or an opponent you control, I lose life unless I pay 1. That adds up very quickly. And also, I totally played the wrong land on that first turn. Good for me. Good for me. 3 mana, Restoration of Iganjo, gets them 8 planes in hand. Next turn can let them get something from the graveyard back into play by discarding. We'll see how they end up playing this. I'm gonna just play Chandra. Start bopping for 2. Yeah, this Elish Norn I feel like is very much a tokens commander, since in order to flip her you do need to sacrifice a bunch of creatures, and then she turns into this build a board and wipe a board. She's very cool when she transforms. And yeah, we're definitely seeing tokens here. This turns into an artifact that makes tokens, and they use this to ramp. They have 1 blocker here, so this feels like a great opportunity for Goro-Goro and Satoru. Get that out. Get some haste. And swing in with some 1/1s. They're actually trading here. It's possible that they have a board wipe, or maybe they're just ready to rumble with me. Ah, check it out. A dragon. Whenever this attacks or blocks, they get a spirit token. And Battle Screech! They can tap 3 untapped white creatures to make more birds. Looks like that's not what they're doing, though. I'm going to make some elementals. I like Goldspan Dragon here. I like it a lot. I'm going to attack in with these with the knowledge that yes, the Architect of Restoration can block and make another spirit, but it's just more things for them to block. We have mana ready for the Tail's End if they want to get Elish Norn out here. And maybe next turn I'll use Thousand Face Dragon to make an extra Goldspan Dragon. That would be nice. March of Otherworldly Light. Okay, well, they're doing it post-combat, but sure. The Immortal Sun! Dang, that's crazy! You put all your mana into that? It's legendary, so we're gonna Tails End it. And we're gonna win the game! Because dragons and ninjas. Emoti and Karuga! You put these two together and you know what they are. Really, really bad against aggro decks. Emoti is Cascade when they cast a big spell, and Karuga is you can only have big spells in your deck, but it's a really good companion since it draws you a bunch of cards. I've got a Reckless Ringleader. It has haste. It gives something else haste. I chose to give the Swarm Saboteur haste. And we're going to be getting in there with some hits, some really, really quick damage. Swarm Saboteur, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, is going to go ahead and get me a Virus Beetle in hand. Looking so good here. I could go for Goro-Goro and Satoru on this turn, and I think I will. It's not going to trigger this turn. We're not going to be getting any fancy-pantsy dragons, but I'm going to be having creatures with haste enter the battlefield next turn, be mostly unblockable, and it's going to be hard for them to avoid that. They ramp. Hello, Lannery Visionary. I'm going to go for a Ginger Brute. Go have, yep. Can't be blocked, except by creatures with haste. Swinging in with Goro-Goro, Ginger Brute, and a Swarm Saboteur. I'm fine with trading it with this Lannery Visionary. They're clearly not. we're gonna make a dragon. It's a good dragon, isn't it? And we're gonna get another virus beetle in hand. We got 3 of these so far, but we get to targeted discard here. See, so they're gonna have 5 mana next turn. Am I scared of you? No. You? No. You? Eventually, yes. So I'm gonna drop that portal to Phyrexia, play the Temple to Epiphany, and a Legion Warboss. Go wide or go home. Here comes Emoti. They will get to Cascade, and they cascaded into Courser of Kruphix, which lets them play lands off the top of their deck. I think we're gonna go for Legion Warboss. Actually did kind of want it to leave black mana up. This is fine. Can't be blocked except by creatures with haste. That's none of you. And we attack it with you because it has to attack you. Yeah, you and you. The free block. And they're down to 1 life. Now, we don't see much life gain in their hand. There's a little off Courser of Kruphix, but I feel like it's either going to be the dragon, the unblockable damage, or the swarm, which we've got building up here. Maybe the virus beetles will do it too. GG, Emoti and Karuga. Imara, when she taps, she spits out tokens, and she also dies to cut down. We're going first in this game, and we're going to start out with our Triome. I'll get out the Mox Amber. It doesn't really matter to me when I cast it. Hello, Imara. Blue, black, blue, black. I'm gonna go for black. I've got more black cards in my hand right now. And I'll play out the Tenacious Underdog. I'm just playing the Tenacious Underdog here because it is a nice, quick creature. There are some new cards in white that have Convoke, so I'm wondering if they're hoping to play around that. Ooh, Woodland Champion. That's also a very good target for this cut down, so I will cut it down. That thing gets bigger every time they make a token. So no tokens for you. No getting bigger. They're making another 2/2. Very cool. I like getting out the Urabrask's Forge, even though Goro-Goro would give me a little more mana off this. We'll swing in. You can trade with my Tenacious Underdog or just get a free block. So far, we're chipping damage in. They don't have a 3rd land, and they don't have white mana yet, though, which makes me wonder why they kept the hand. Okay, there we go. They had 2 really good 1-drops, or 2-drops that they could play with the mana they had. But now it's Imara time. Or now it's Speaker of the Heavens time. This makes tokens. But only if they have enough life. Leveling up Ranger class, getting their dog, and making it bigger. Goro-Goro and Satoru. Land. And this thing cannot have its damage prevented because it's a 2/1 with trample, and you are but a little 1/1. Oh, a dead little 1/1. We still get a dragon. It's a good dragon. It's a very good dragon. If we get a land next turn, we could go for Delina Haste and a whole lot of Goro-Goros. Imagine multiple triggers on Goro-Goros. Our opponent refuses to imagine. No imagination. Vadrik is posing a threat, or, well, posing a threat is playing Vadrik. Vadrik, when it mutates, returns spells from the graveyard and lets you cast them for free. Vadrik is very cool, works with any kind of non-creature, including planeswalkers that happen to cost 3 or less, and I have no blue mana. But I do have a really fun, aggressive lineup here, and I'm happy to race against the Nightmare... No, wait. Elemental Dinosaur Cat. Nightmare is red. I have to remember that. Reckless Ringleader. We're going to give Kari-Zev haste. Next turn, we can play Kari-Zev. She's going to come with a monkey. My favorite monkey, Ragavan. And the turn after that, Squee is swinging in too. We've got damage and damage and damage and tokens that come into play. So much all adding up here that it's worth paying life to get that Shatter Skull Smash again. Turn 2, we're swinging in. The monkey 2. Nice. It's a nice artifact land. Renowned Weaponsmith. It is able to block some of my creatures here. I'm gonna pay 3 life and go for Squee. We have 2 different 1/1s that will be attacking here, and a 2/1. My guess is they'll block the 2-1 even though it goes away at end of turn, or they'll just, sure, concede because mono red aggro, it's a Grixis deck, is very scary. It's Sigarda, Champion of Light. If you've been paying attention to the previews for the next set, we're going to have another Sigarda that's even better with humans, but this is a humans tribal Sigarda. I have a deck like this too, and this hand's a little awkward. We do have a lot more ninjas than usual, but I like this turn 2 Thoughtseize or Dokuchi Silencer. Hopefully we do get ourselves some lovely blue mana. Oh, look at that! Blue mana! And a Thalia. Okay, Thalia. You do make this cost 2, but I think it's worth the price. We're gonna Thoughtseize you and check out what you have in hand. Extraction Specialist will be able to bring back the Militia Captain if we put it into Graveyard. This is a land, which would be kind of funny to hit right here. I'm gonna hit the Extraction Specialist, though. Just take that out. This Sigarda, by the way, gives all humans +1/+1 that they control, has Flying Trample, and if it attacks when they have Coven active, can get them a human from the top cards of their deck. Do I want to just get out Goro-Goro and Satoru? I don't have any haste ready. I feel like it makes more sense to set up for some ninjas. But why do that when I can just play a blocker? Yeah, I'm like realizing it's a 3-mana 3/4, 2/1, 2/2. This is card draw. Very much makes that Sigarda a better play for them. I'm going to get out my difficult to block / unblockable futurist operative. I'm going to play the Lizard Blades and toss down a Swamp too, and then we're just going to chill because you're bigger than me. The Hanweir Militia Captain will transform if they're able to get through an entire turn here. Avacyn's Pilgrim. Oh yeah, that's a great new addition. Not that they put this in Arena. They're swinging in. And since they do have a 2, 3, and 4 power, Coven is active. Top 5 cards of the deck had an Inquisitor Captain among them. I see a very cheeky way here for me to make 2 dragons. It's a little risky, but I'm gonna go for it. I'm going to swing in. This is a 3/4. This is a 1/1. We're gonna ninjutsu in here. Wait, do you not? Oh, you don't avoid legendary rule. All right. Sorry, I misread there. They still didn't block this. Neat. I will discard Mountain. We can either destroy this before it flips, or the Sigarda. I'll hit the Militia Captain before it flips. And I'll replay the Futurist Operative. I, like, completely forgot, like, oh yeah. You don't make non-legends. Hello, Skyclave Apparition. Who are you exiling? My commander? Move my commander to the command zone? Yes. Cool Sigarda, though. I'm bigger. Luminarch Aspirant. It is. Aspirant. Gonna put +1/+1 counters on thing. Would your Sigarda like to trade with my Dragon Spirit? I've got the Dragon Spirit. I want to hear it. We could go for Goro-Goro. We could get some Lizard Blades on. And we do have more ninjutsu ready to rumble. I'm going to be using that ninjutsu this turn. Ooh, wait a minute. I could have afforded... They made this only cost 3 for its ninjutsu ability. So what we're going to do is we're going to attack it with a Futurist Operative, Unblockable, and this 5/5 Dragon Spirit. We're going to go ahead and throw that back into hand. This comes into play. We make a copy of another attacking creature. It's this 5/5 Dragon. We'll replay the Futurist Operative. And we've got enough blockers, I think, to stay alive here. And we also have the potential for some double strike and dragons next turn. Laelia's Lieutenant! All their humans will be getting +1/+1 counters. They can also draw a card if they would like to. And they did! Okay, everybody is coming in here. See what human they find. They whiffed. I will block the Luminarch Aspirant. I will block the Inquisitor Captain. And I will block Venture of the Meek. I just want to not die. So I'm blocking the biggest stuff here. Oh, but I guess I did math badly. I thought I was going to be alive at 1. Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. Hello, Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. You are scary because you proliferate, which oftentimes means that we're going to be facing down against the terrifying, the troublesome, the Planeswalkers. Well, I've got a Futurist Operative. It's an unblockable 1/1. And we're holding up Tail's End and Wash Away. These are the only 2 counter spells in my deck, but I'm pretty happy to have them here because these both stop Atraxa and the Planeswalkers, which I'm afraid of my opponent having. An Astral Cornucopia. This is a very, very strong thing for them to be proliferating because it does tap for more mana the more counters it has on it. I do have the option to destroy this here, but I'm more worried about this Atraxa coming down. So I want to make sure I'm holding up the Wash Away, because if I destroy this and they play a land, Atraxa is going to come down anyway. All right, here we go. Tail's End on Atraxa. They could have a Spell Pierce. Yep, they do. Atraxa comes into play. Gonna get down Fabled Passage. Gonna crack it open. And get some extra red. I'm going to destroy the artifact, have them discard. But they will be gaining 4 life each turn by attacking with this, which means I'm in a rough spot. They dropped a Assassin's Trophy. All of the damage I dealt to them was about to be negated, though, because Atraxa's very big, also vigilant, so she can attack and block. Ouch! Fatal Push. There goes my unblockable. There goes my card draw off of Gix. Thankfully, though, they have nothing to proliferate here. We can get out Goro-Goro. And I will. Hi, Goro-Goro. You're not very good at attacking in here, are you? Experimental Augury. This also proliferates. Imagine how much mana they would have if we did not destroy that Astral Cornucopia. The answer is more than I can think about. Too much. Painful amount. Vorinclex. That's going to double their counters. It's also a 6/6 with haste. Let's see if they swing on in. I'm not blocking. I take 10. They gain 4. And any +1/+1 counter stuff I would have is not going to work very well. I suppose I could double block Vorinclex. This feels like a very, very boring way for me to be playing. This Atraxa is killing me rather quickly, though. I have a counterspell ready for things, if needed. in case of emergency. Break glass. Yeah, them being able to counter my counterspell when I didn't have other removal for attracts, it does mean this thing is doing work. Ginger Brute, by the way, this is worth noting. Can be blocked by Vorinclex because this does have haste. Some Vorinclexes have reach and some of them have haste. We're almost dead, but we're not dead yet. I'm actually approaching having enough mana to just use Gix's ability, discard cards, and try and play incredibly powerful cards out of my opponent's deck. And I might have to do that, because I'm dead next turn if I don't. I'm going to block, block, and block some more. What sort of removal do you have? An Aether Gust. I'll counter your Aether Gust. Ouch! They can kill 2 of the 3 of these. They're thinking about something. What do you have? What do you have? Nothing. Okay, great. So that's off the battlefield. And, oh, a Sunfall? They get a 4/4 Phyrexian Incubator token. Wild. Okay. I can make a 5/5, so that's kind of good for me. We're gonna swing in with Goro-Goro. He's gonna give haste. We get a 5/5. Finally, a 5/5, which means we get a block attract, so we could block this token. We're doing just fine. Not sure why they used a board wipe there. You have 35 life. Not sure why you're scared of me. I'm more afraid of you than you are of me. We're gonna burn down the house. We're gonna get some devils out here. We're going to attack in with said devils and with this 5/5. Because these all entered the battlefield this turn, they do have haste. We will be getting another dragon. I am planning on using Goro-Goro to just, like, jump block here. The important thing is what we do is we have dragons. Can actually double block, I realize. So I'm going to get ready to double block. The incubator is released from its prison. They got mind games to buy themselves. Yeah, they didn't want to trade with just one of these. Hello, Yahenni. This is a goblin, so it does get buffed by Battlecry Goblin. I'm going to swing in with not both of these dragons. These both entered the battlefield this turn. I can kill a Traxa here, but I'm not actually sure how valuable that is. I can just prevent the life gain. And deal some extra damage. The way I could have killed things is by sacrificing these devils to deal some extra damage. Hello, Narset, who disables any extra card draw I have. Though we are a Grixis deck, we have very little card draw. Little devil tokens. Very versatile and strong. I had to leave back this Dragon Spirit because I knew that they had the ability to resist our removal. Okay, looks like Elspeth's going to be conquering death. They can either hit Goro-Goro or they can hit Yahenni. There it is. Okay. Yahenni can become indestructible. Do you accelerate your Elspeth Conquers Death? I'm looking at what creatures they have. They have the Vorinclex here. Kids, get in here. We took out the main thing that I was afraid of them bringing back. In fact, there's nothing else for them to bring back here. They could even, like, intentionally block with Atraxa here, knowing that they would be bringing her back. And I think that that's smart. We're going to go ahead and use our Swarm Saboteur to put either Battlecry Goblin or the Hive back into hand, because I actually haven't played a land yet this turn. I'm going to go with the Battlecry Goblin, though. It's going to go into my hand. This is going to come into play. Deal some damage. They gain some life. Now Jax will actually be getting bigger and bigger each turn, becoming, I guess, a 6/6. Since, well, you know, she'll have a +1/+1 counter to proliferate on herself. Pretty strong.
I have just the trick for this.
Narset's gonna dig, look at the top cards. Narset being able to just, like, repeatedly -2 with Atraxa out is so scary. Vraska, Betrayal's Sting. They definitely have the mana to play her, and this is going to be very powerful removal. Can turn any of my creatures into tokens. Tokens that cannot attack, cannot block, but only can be sacrificed for mana. Making it so I can't block with my Dragon Spirit. And then Infernal Grasp. Ooh, that's going to be a good game because I cannot block their 7/7 Phyrexian. GG. Finally, in they swing. And we lose the game. GG Atraxa. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars. As always, if you'd like to watch me record these live, you should come over to twitch.tv/Amazonian, where I stream Magic pretty much every single day. This deck, I'm aware that I misplayed a bunch, is really, really cool. A Grixis aggro is not what people are expecting in the queue, and that gives us a bit of an advantage because, hey, you can go very, very fast and hit very, very hard with a lot of these little creatures, and you can get sneaky with Goro-Goro and Satoru. I'd say that if you want to build this deck, you can absolutely experiment more with having more of a ninja's theme, maybe even a dragon's theme, or go hard into the tokens as well. Goro-Goro and Satoru is a very interesting commander, and I'm really glad that they bought this and a few of the other commander-only cards into Magic the Gathering Arena for Historic Brawl. If you have a commander, especially one from March of the Machine or the upcoming March of the Machine Aftermath set that you'd like to see me build, you should let me know in the comments. Goro-Goro and Satoru was voted on in my channel, a big list of suggestions, and I've been picking lots of other commanders like that, so if you suggest something, there's a chance that I'll end up building it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a brawlful day!